because I was an 85% stutterer before.
But it meant real problems when I was in the Marine Corps and I was going to be away overnight or overseas. Just things like using a telephone. Annie would never use a telephone. A telephone is an invention of the devil for most stutterers. And so she wouldn't use that. If she was going to talk to a friend, we'd have to, either one of the children or I would have to get the other person on the phone, then give the phone to Annie. She just wouldn't use the telephone. And never took a taxi cab because she'd be embarrassed trying to tell the person where she wanted to go. Or shopping. Wouldn't tell the clerk what she really wanted to get. She'd rather leave the store than do that. So those are the kinds of problems that she had. And then
nobody understands that you can't shop, you can't order, you can't. Our kids had to answer the phone. If I answered the phone, I would have to make a sound to let the person on the other end of the phone line to know that I was even on there.
When she was here at Hollis, near the end of her 3-week course, she called me on the telephone. And that was something new, too, for her to be calling on the telephone. And that was very emotional, when she could talk without stuttering.
So when I called John, he couldn't believe it. I called another friend, and she was crying.
She came home and wanted to talk to all of her friends all over the country, and so the phone bills went up drastically, just because she'd never been able to do that before.
Going to an event where well-known women came up to me, not knowing I was a stutterer, because I was very severe at that time, and watching these well-known women turn away from me.
I was in the Senate for 24 years in Washington, and Annie was able to participate more fully in women's organizations and in all the functions, of course. And when I would run for re-election, Annie had never been able before that to really participate. She'd go with me to all the events and all, but as far as her getting up and speaking or being at a women's group and representing me at a group, she was never able to do that. It's been great to see her be able to sort of blossom, if you will, to become more capable of expressing herself and participate.
And our son was married and had our first grandchild, and I was reading to Daniel. And John was sitting on the other side of the room listening, and there were tears coming down his cheeks because he had never heard me read to our kids because I couldn't in my life. Hollins has been an answer to my prayer.
For Annie, it just literally changed her life.
Times have changed for Annie Glenn. What a difference. I tell more people that I feel like a butterfly that has been let out of a cocoon, and it's just completely changed my life. I can argue, I can make speeches, I can talk to people, I can order, I can go I can go shopping and ask what I want and not have to show them on a piece of paper what I'm trying to buy. It's just really changed my life. Life is beautiful now.